Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Dayle.
We're sisters and best friends, and this is Proof It's Possible.
Jamie and I are complete opposites, but somehow through every stage of life, we stay on the same team. We're kicking the door wide open and sharing our morning coffee chats with you.
Join us as we chat about everything from chasing our dreams to entrepreneurship to family, friendship, and what other craziness we have going on that week.
Hi guys, welcome to Proof It's Possible. Today we are chatting about what we didn't think was possible for us when we were younger. So, Dayle, what do you think?
Well, I have a million. The thing is, I have a million things because I thought nothing was possible. Because I was in a wheelchair at the age of 16. It was very sudden. So I honestly thought everything was impossible. I thought leaving the house would be impossible. I thought getting a job would be impossible. I thought falling in love would be impossible. Being loved back would be impossible. So I can kind of go through each one of those things, but I pretty much felt like the world in general was completely impossible for me. Obviously, I figured out a couple of things because now I'm 40, so I've been in a wheelchair longer than I wasn't in a wheelchair, which is very, very hard for me to think or to believe. But so the first big obstacle for me was going away to college. I just couldn't wrap my head around where would I live? How would I get around the college, the campus? How would I get in and out of my car every day? And the thing that it was my first little dipping my toe into something, realizing that there's always a solution. But I thought little by little, I thought, this is just the solution for this, but the next thing is still 100% impossible. So I didn't get this grand moment where I was like, okay, pretty much anything's possible for you because you went to college. So that was all you needed to know. And now you're good at everything. It's great. Because I did not feel like that. I truly felt and college was such I found a college, wheelchair accessible dorms were inside the school. I got a power wheelchair, so I didn't have to push myself around the big campus for the years that I was there. I made friends. I cooked my own food. I became what I call a fake adult because my world, my bubble was so safe. Once I got out of college, although I'd fluffed my feathers and felt real good about it, still couldn't get out of my car by myself. Still didn't have a job. Still felt like I was not.
Yeah, but just because it hadn't happened yet doesn't mean that you thought that it was impossible or you still did think it was impossible.
No, I still did. I literally turtled and was like,
God, if I never would have went to college if I thought that I wasn't going to get a job after. I barely went as it was.
Well, exactly. Yeah, but don't you think you were so confident about work? You've always been confident about work and money and numbers. And I literally am not that person. I need to prove to myself it's possible, to believe it's possible. I can't just take someone else's word for it. But because you got a job when you were 9 years old or whatever you were,
I was 14. It was my 14th birthday back when that was legal. And I was the best hostess Boston Pizza has ever seen. So
exactly. You don't become hostess boss at all, bossing all the little hostess
by 15
around. Yeah, by 15, unless you're doing something right. So you pretty much nailed
I nailed it.
Yeah.
I knew once when I became head cheese of the hostesses, I knew that anything was possible. Anything was possible for me.
And you ran with it. But for real though, you did have so much that did give you more career confidence than
Totally.
a lot of things would. I would have been okay, well, I got one job, but that's it. I'll probably have to stay here forever.
I've never lacked confidence in getting a job. I always knew that I would be the boss and be the big shot and do all the things, climb the corporate ladder. I never had fear about that. All of my fears were more personal related.
Really?
I don't even know if personal related is the right way to describe it, but here's an example. Okay. I thought that I was too shy to ever speak in front of people. So shy that I almost failed religion class in grade 10 because I refused to do my presentation on a saint in front of the class. I was I will write an essay. I will do extra work. I will do whatever it takes, but I will not utter a word in front of the class. So those are your choices. Fail me or let me do like a written assignment instead.
Right.
And which I think is like so crazy now.
Well, considering we're sitting here on a podcast, writing books, telling all of our secrets to everybody that'll listen.
Oh, telling our secrets to the freaking world.
Exactly. Like, and just really public speaking here.
Well, and like we just took like, you know, the saying, I'm an open book, to like a whole new level. No, truly. Exactly. Here is my book and you can open it and read off.
And just read, like, I give you an idea of chapter titles. Guy number 1, guy number 2.
Yeah.
Like read down into the rabbit hole of like
Dayle's is 50 Shades of Dayle. So that's interesting if you're looking for your latest read, erotica novel.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I said erotica novel.
No, it's more like what I needed to learn from each one to get my favorite as Darren.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, but then once I got to the real world, my next biggest, like, not possible, it's not possible for me, is to actually like go out and earn a living and get a job and be an adult that like took care of herself. Like I always thought like, okay, mom and dad, what are we going to do now? Because I'm with you forever. This is so fun. Like, and they were fun. Like I loved my extra time with them. It's like a blessing. But it took me till like, probably I was in my mid-20s before I truly thought like, okay, you got to grow up here, girl. You're an adult and you need to like behave like one. And so that's when although I like was already being an interior designer, I had a discount sticker on all my wares. Like I wasn't charging right to make it a career. I wasn't making enough money to, if I genuinely had to pay all my bills on my own, had no help, I just decided that because I didn't feel good about myself because I was newly in a wheelchair. I was totally mixed up about my emotions around it and having to like accept this new normal and all the hard things that come with it. I basically ended up like thinking you're a pain in the ass, and everyone, but most importantly, your clients think you're a pain in the ass too.
That is a
terrible thing to say? I know.
Yes.
But that's what I thought. So basically I thought like, even if I'm going to become an interior designer, like I can't charge people as much as another interior designer, even though interior design, like your skill as an interior designer doesn't matter if
you walk
with your ability to walk. Like they aren't, it's like, I wasn't going to be like the long jumper or the sprinter at the Olympics. Like this is not a related.
Yeah, it wasn't like physical ability based. It wasn't like how fast can you build the building?
No, or paint the room, or like I'm not my job. So, but it's just like a super huge mirror for what I was going through and what I like felt. So I basically thought you'll never even get a client. And then I got a client and I was like, well, it's kind of weird that they like don't think I'm a pain in the ass because I am. And then the next one I was like, okay, well, it's weird that they don't think I'm a pain in the ass because maybe I am, you know, and it got better and better. And then finally you get like enough work and experience. And I don't think that like being in a wheelchair is the only reason you doubt your new skill or your new thing. Like, I think lots of people go into their first opportunities or careers or whatever, and they feel that same kind of doubt. Like they're like, oh, I'm just starting out. I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody's going to trust me. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. I'm not.
Because you lack confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a lack. Mine, I felt, was like a lacking confidence at like 100% capacity. It wasn't even like a glimmer inside that I was going to be fine. I was going to make money at it. I was going to turn it into a career, all that good stuff. So my career had so much of that around it. And then dating, oh my God, dating, like the story you tell yourself about like being in a wheelchair, being lovable. Is that possible for you fully? Like this one, the like work story, I was willing to like let my mind be like, yeah, but what if there was somebody out there that might consider it, consider hiring me because I'm not totally a pain in the ass. Like I could do this for them. I could help them this way. But with dating, it was like, no, this is just like a fact. These are facts. And there's no there's no disputing the facts. Like, it's like saying, you know, my hair is black. Like, it just is what it is. And so it wasn't until other people started being like, you should start dating. And I was like, no, that's gross and weird. I don't know why you're saying something I would just guaranteed fail at. You don't even like me, obviously. You just want to see me crash and burn. Don't be so mean.
Like, this is a real therapy session, because that is a window into some like real negative self-talk. That is intense, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but that is a very much a like the biggest of all big limiting beliefs. That is the biggest of them all. That like they're not lovable. That's crazy.
It's ginormous, right? And so, anyways, you'll have to read my whole book to get all the down and dirty on that. But basically, through baby steps, I worked on that, because I also, you know, as much as like you believe something, you look around your life and you see some people that do kind of love you, like your family and whatever. And so there's something inside of you that always is saying like, no, there's little hints of proof that maybe you are lovable, or maybe you, whatever. So what are some areas that you've felt like you didn't believe in yourself, or you didn't think was possible for you?
For me, the biggest thing is not necessarily like that, like, you know, how you have like this repetitive thought. Mine was more like happiness when, like, I'm going to be happy once I graduate university. I'm going to be happy once it's like summertime. I'm going to do this once it's like, I'm always delaying or like hanging my happiness or my next step, or like, it'll get better when this happens. And so it's like always kind of just like out of reach. Like, you could never fully feel accomplished, because you're like I was never enjoying the journey of it all. It was always just like, I can't do this until this happened. And then once that happened, it was like, well, now I have to have a new target. Like I was constantly moving the goalpost, but like the only thing that did was making sure that I never felt like fulfilled.
Right.
So like, whether it's my financial goals or my, like what I wanted to do in business, like if I was like, yeah, I want to get promoted, then I would get promoted and I'd be like, okay, well now what? And now I need to set a new thing. So it was like, it was just always so short-lived that I always had this like new set of standards that I needed to meet. So ensuring that I was never like happy in the moment.
So how did you get over that? Or do you feel like you still do it?
Sometimes I still do it. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, I'm so torn, because isn't that what drives you? Like a little bit, is there's something about growth. Like, I call it growth, or call it like the hamster wheel of stress and early death. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that like the difference is like enjoying the process. It's okay to be driven, and it's okay to have like new goals and all of that. But to be like, I refuse to settle or to like enjoy my life until X, Y, and Z happens.
Totally.
Only ensures that you're never going to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
That's the only guarantee out of all of that, you know? So for me, it was like, I've literally done it since I was a little kid though. I remember doing it in like elementary, being like, yeah, I'm not going to be happy until it's summertime. And then summer would come and I would like have a good summer, but I'd be like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to be happy. Yeah, I'm not going to be happy until Christmas gets here. And like, I always was just
I don't have one memory of like being a child. Honestly, sometimes I think I was a real dumb kid though, because like I don't have one like memory of me being, I guess I was a kid that saw the glass as half full, and honestly, I'm an adult that does too. So I think I'm the dead opposite. I think I was a child that saw the glass as half empty. Really?
Yes.
And I mean, I remember you being like total spaz and stuff, but I don't remember you like, and like having a bad temper and stuff, but like you were also hilarious. You were very fun to play with. Like I loved you. Like I thought you were so great, but for me, I'm the kind of person that like, even with all those bad thoughts I mentioned, I was more happy than I was sad about, even with those bad thoughts living inside me on a regular basis.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like the fact that you are thinking these thoughts, I'm like, I can't believe because my thoughts outwardly sound real bad. Like they sound like they're like debilitating bad. But I wasn't totally unhappy. I actually loved the dating process. I found it super fun. Was there like rejection involved with it? Of course. Was there like the wrong guy and staying with someone I shouldn't have stayed with? Of course. But I was very like happy throughout it, and like took the good from it. I think like I mean there was obviously moments of sadness too, but I didn't like let them stay.
But like, I think that's the difference, is that like everybody comes with a different
Yeah.
set of baggage. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I was just like born with that like, I don't know, glass half empty outlook on life.
But
But
yeah,
I feel like kind of like, you know how dad always kind of sees the like more negative side of things, and mom is more like optimistic, and I don't know. It's just like,
depends on the topic. Depends on the topic though.
totally. Yeah, you're right.
And
You're
that's with
100%.
you and me too. That's with you and me too. I have to say, like, I do think that people, it depends on the topic, because if it's like something that I fret about anyway, and
Mhm.
something bad happens within that world, I'm like, oh God, this is the worst case scenario. I can't recover from it. You know, like I'm a fretter about money, for instance, and I've had to do a lot of work to like get myself to a good mental place with money. And even when I don't need fret about money, I'll choose to fret about money. Like if I let my mind kind of go on me. Whereas I don't think you fret about money the way that, unless you're genuinely in a financial turmoil situation. Like you don't
Yeah,
go there unless you're there.
I don't feel like I fret nearly as much about money, but I fret about, I don't even know if I fret about other things. Yeah, I definitely do, but
Even stuff like just who your kids will turn out to be,
yeah,
and you know, how
yeah.
much time are you spending with them? Are you doing a good enough job? Like that
Hmm.
that kind of mom pressure is like hard. And I feel
There's no
like
sense
every
fretting
mom,
about that. Hmm.
you do fret about that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I mean, I don't know that there's a mom on this earth that's like, oh, I'm doing the perfect job. I'm amazing at this. Like every mom's like, oh, I yelled today, or I didn't spend enough time with them. They asked me to play and I said no. Like there's just mom guilt from every direction.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's interesting though, because it's like, I find that it's very much like a conscious thing. Like I have to be very conscious of it to flip the script in my own mind, to make sure that I'm not
Right.
falling into those negative patterns of like seeing the glass half empty and changing it around to being, seeing it half full. And like some things that I do to do that is like meditation, like chatting with my girlfriends, people that are very like positive. I like to be around people that are positive. I like to do things that I like love and recharge me. And like journaling and like self-reflection, time alone, listening to music, like all the things that I feel like kind of quiet the noise in your mind and all of the like not true things that your mind tells you, and gets you back to center.
Totally. Yes, I agree. For sure. And like when I mean, we'll probably do like a full podcast on this someday, but I think that like mental health, mental wellness, all that, we all have like varying degrees to manage it. And like you said, you were born with more pessimistic outlook and a glass half empty kind of feeling. So you have to work to get the glass half full, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was born with a happy heart. I say that. I mean that. I genuinely naturally see the good in things, and to a almost like unrealistic level. Like I remember when dad told me this, that when I was first diagnosed, or like not diagnosed properly because I wasn't ever really diagnosed properly, but when we were first told like you've got something going on, it's like probably a neurological disease. I heard the word disease, and like I kind of knew that was probably like not a good thing, um, because like the only disease I knew about, our grandma had cancer, so I knew that was a disease. Like, and it just seemed like a negative thing to me. And so, but I had made up a story in my mind in the car ride home that mom and dad asked me like, "Or how are you doing now that you heard that and all these things. And I was like, oh, I'm good. It's actually kind of like good news. And they're like,
But
no,
why?
it's not great news. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, or they're like, why do you think that? And I'm like, well, because you can only get one disease and I didn't get cancer. So looks like I'm winning here. Because like just finding, like I made up that you can't have more than one disease because I was 10. I didn't know. I didn't understand it. And like, I don't know if I was just telling myself a story or where I got that story from, but it made me feel better or what. And like, they kind of like softly explained to me like, no, that's not how it works. Like, but to me, getting told that, I already knew some things were going on that I couldn't control. Like I wasn't able to go up the stairs like really fast, or, I was noticing things myself. So I knew something might be wrong. I just didn't know what it was. So the doctor being like, I don't know what it is either, didn't like scare me as much as me noticing it. Like, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I'm born with a happier heart and it's hard to explain, but I do think like mental health, mental wellness, we all have to manage it. Like it is not something
For
that
sure. And I feel like even if you have it in this moment, it doesn't, like you've got it all together in this moment, it does not promise you have it all together the next moment. Like today might be good, tomorrow's going to be horrible, and you have to just
life. Yeah.
You just have to have good habits and good routines and do the things that you know will get you out of your funk, because your happiness is like
support
not
systems, all the things. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, and like I absolutely believe that some people struggle with it more than others. I think that some people, I definitely think that it's something that we've been told, or like somehow it's been relayed to us in our lifetime, conditioning or whatever, that it's only for people who have, and I do not like this term, but mental illness. And it's like, guys, mental illness is not the right word, because it's mental health. We're either, it's a spectrum. It's a
reactionary. It's so reactionary if you're already sick.
Exactly. You're already sick and you needed to do things, whether it's like medication, see your doctor, mix in the habits you were mentioning about. But we are all going to go through all the different things. It's to what degree we go through it and to how much we have put in place to manage it. Like I know that I'll have days where I just wake up and I'm like, why am I like riled up? And I used to think it was just like bad energy, but it's called anxiety, and it's not that it's something I only get like a couple days a month, which I'm really grateful for. But there's people that get it every single day. And their struggle is definitely harder and more to manage. And so for them, they have to have their own set of tools and whatever that looks like for them. Like, but it's not a bad thing. They're not in it alone. We're all in it. We're all in it together. Like, and so it's kind of sucks honestly that it's this thing that we don't just say like, I'm anxious today, to like,
no, the stigma around mental health is so strong. And even though like all of these charities and public figures are trying to like lessen the stigma and make it less shameful to be like, I go to therapy, it's totally normal, it still carries this like element of shame. And it's wild to me, because it's like saying I go to the gym and I eat right because I want to do the best for my physical body. But if you said like, oh, I go to therapy to manage my anxiety, people are like, ooh. Yikes.
Or they like don't want to sit with you at the lunch table at your office because they're like, that's a lot heavy. But if they were to say, if they're like, oh, I'm on a new diet, so I eat salad and chicken for lunch, or whatever, you'd be like, oh, how long have you been on it? How much have you lost? Have you noticed any?
Well, and like also if somebody sat down beside you and was like, yeah, I just found out I have the beginning stages of cancer, you wouldn't be like, oh God, get me out of here. I do not want to sit with you anymore. But if someone was like, I'm really struggling with depression, you'd be like, oh, I don't know.
It's just an uncomfortable conversation.
Well, and honestly, I think a lot of it is that people don't know how to react. They don't know how. We haven't been taught any social graces around
none.
People admitting that they're struggling mentally. And that's why there is such a stigma around it, because nobody talks about it. And when the people that do, you're like, us as society has kind of deemed them like a little bit.
Well, we basically are, because we've put it on ignore, because we've put it on the no talk list, like just like money. And I honestly think like not talking about money is another bad habit. Like
Totally.
it's a very bad habit. And it's not that we all need to be like, hey guys, this is how much is in my bank today. How much is in your bank today?
Yeah. Cause I think there's like something that's not, that's like airing laundry that just doesn't need to be aired. I don't agree with being like, you know what? I'm so rich that I was able to buy this brand new Fendi bag. Like, I hate that air about you, but I also think that it's okay to talk about money and to say, like, to teach our kids about money.
We'll teach your kids about money. It's how you talk about money. I also think that money runs the world. So to pretend it's bad, it's not. Money is not bad.
No.
Money is actually quite good if you use it for good. Like if you acquire money and you're so fortunate in your life that you're able to like give to charity, have free time to be able to give your time to charity, to help other people, to hire people at your business because your business does well. Like I think that money actually brings a lot of good. Although if you look at like the way money's presented to us, it's like in a movie, the bad guy is the rich guy that owns the business, or you know, we really have this thing around money being like bad, but it's only bad in the hands of bad people. So money itself is an inanimate object, but it's our currency. So it plays a big role, but we don't talk about it, just like we don't talk about mental health. And then you wonder why did I get to 40 years old and am I just figuring out the best ways to like save for my retirement? And I realize I've been doing it all wrong, but it's because I never went and did it. You know, like these are the things that are possibly happening because we didn't know we were allowed to talk about it. And had you talked about it with your friend who actually knows a lot about money, they might have given you the wisdom 15 years before that. So open the conversation. So anyways, I feel like, for me, speaking of money, I did not think I would be able to like provide for myself. And I do like a virtual high kick every single time I get like a new client or something. Cause I'm like, look at me doing the damn thing. And it's been 24 years and I'm still like proud of myself for breaking down my like impossible task, like breaking down the door to providing for myself, feeling like I'm not a pain in the ass, you know, all the things. Like I still feel the excitement of a new client, just like I did the first day I got a new client. Like,
oh, totally. So do I.
Yeah.
Every new job, I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting.
Like, this is amazing. It is amazing. Like I mean, I cried about the podcast when it came out. I was like, this is so amazing. Cause obviously I was like hormonal or something, but anyways, we want to hear from you guys, gals, about what did you think was impossible for you? Like, was it, cause like another one for me, just to give you this might be relatable. I didn't think I would be able to lose weight ever, because when I went into the wheelchair to start with, I ended up gaining a whole bunch of weight. And it didn't matter. It wasn't about how I looked that was the problem. It was my abilities were quickly draining, like 100 miles an hour. I was starting to not be able to transfer on my own. I was starting to have trouble with people helping me in and out of my vehicle and things like that. So I realized I had to do something about it, but I genuinely was like, if you can't work out, what are you going to do? And I had to find a whole bunch of tools, but I didn't think I'd ever be able to lose weight. I didn't think I'd ever be able to make money. I didn't think I'd ever get married. I didn't think I'd ever fall in love. I didn't think anyone would love me back, you know? So I had a whole list of stories. If it was a possibility for me to feel bad about it, I felt bad about it. So I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I want to hear from you guys too.
We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks, and chat next time.